Hello all. So today's session is for the regression analysis in machine learning. So let's start. So what is regression? So regression analysis is a statistical method to model the relationship between the dependent and independent variables. So let's say we have a equation which have some values which we have to calculate based on some parameters which are some input variables and which are dependent variables, and then we have to predict something or some variables, some values. Then it has to be called as a polynomial equation, and this polynomial equation is going to be predicted as your regression equation. So regression analysis helps us to understand the values of the dependent variable is changing corresponding to the independent variable, and when the other independent variables are held fixed. So to give you an example, let's say we have to predict weather or predict salary or some of the examples of that. Let's say market analysis we have to do. So based on some polynomial equation, we have some parameters. Let's say market is pretty much fluctuating and market is going down. So based on that we can predict that today the market prices are going to go down, and there are a high probability that the overall the price of the stock is going to go down. So, and similarly for the temperature and weather, so those predictions we can do with the mathematical modeling of the regression analysis that we can do with the machine learning. Now other factors that are related with this are to understand different terminologies that comes along with the regression analysis. So first are the dependent variables. So there are in the polynomial equation, if we talk, there are some dependent variables which gives predictions or like values which are which serves as the target value. So those are the dependent variables. If we talk of independent variables, then the factors which affect the dependent variable or which are used to predict the value of the dependent variables are called independent variable. So those are the different terminology. Next term is the outlier. So let's say if we are going to predict some value, and if it is going to go somewhere down or somewhere way too high, then it's a outlier that comes in the regression analysis, and it cannot be predicted with our model. Now next is the underfitting and overfitting. So let's say the polynomial equation or the our algorithm that was working to predict our values. So if our algorithm works well with the training data set but not with the test data set, then such problem is called overfitting. But if our algorithm does not perform well even with the training data set, then such problem is called underfitting. So these are some of the terminology which comes along with the regression. Now to give you certain type of regression that comes along with the regression that we have is linear regression, which is kind of the most used regression that we have. Next is the logistic regression, then polynomial regression, support vector regression, decision tree regression, then it's random forest regression, ridge regression, and the last one is mostly like it's lasso regression that we are going to use. So these are some of the regression model that we have in machine learning. So today I'm going to cover only for the regression part that we understood. So in conclusion, so regression is something which is a kind of a equation which takes certain values and predicts some values based on those equation. and those equation can be hugely massive. There can be some error that comes along the way, and once those things are sorted, and there are different ways to find those regression techniques, or predict some values, or get the data which we require from that model. So today the mostly it's related with that, but in the next lecture we are going to cover different regression models as well. Thanks for watching.